Okay, class. So, first of all, I wanted to say thank you so much for giving me all of your questions on being able to kind of bebop around to the different applications and go over some things, either refreshers or things that you needed a little more clarity on, and so on. So, let's get right into it. The first one I have is moving around images in Illustrator. So I'm in Illustrator right now, and I'm going to open up actually just a random image that you're actually going to see in this particular lab coming up for this week. So it's going to look familiar, and it's also a beach ball. I thought that would be kind of nice, saying that the summer is coming. So I use open and then open up my file. Across the board, I want you guys to understand that this is going to be Mac related. I don't have a PC, and neither do the school labs, so it's going to be very Mac oriented. That means that you're going to have to, do a lot of this practicing if you do have PCs on your own. So what I have here is pretty much the lab file, and it's very big. As you can see, it's overwhelming the art board here, the workspace area. So what I do is pressing down on the shift button. Again, this is Mac related. If it could be control, it could be a different button in the PC world. So I press that down, and then I'm actually able to control the scale movement of my image as I press inward. See that arrow right there? I'm pressing inward towards the center, and I'm making it smaller, okay? And then I have an image in Illustrator, and I'm moving it around. It's mentioned in this moving photos situation that you're looking for, there's two different frames that happen. There is a blue frame that you're seeing here, and there's also a red frame. That is an indication that that's InDesign to me. So I did actually open up InDesign real quick too, and I wanted to show you the differences between the two. And again, that specific detail that was talked about, this is that. So the blue in the labs that I've talked about with InDesign, the blue is the place, they call it the place frame. So when you place down, see there's the place icon there, and I was to put down a place frame, that's the place frame, right? Now this is, I've pressed on place, and then it brings me into an image area, and then I would pick the image, right, to place in. That's what this is. So this red here file, whoops, sorry. Here's another thing. You have to make sure that you're in the right arrow. So this arrow here is selection tool. Okay, so that has grabbed it all, the place frame. The direct selection tool, the white arrow, is going to then give you the freedom to move around the red frame, okay? And that is where the image is, the placed image is, okay? And that's what I'm hearing, is this moving around, and it's like, oh wow, why is it doing that? Why isn't it not staying still? So that's the reason why. Make sure that you have the red frame placed where you want it to be, and then click on the selection tool to be able to then move just the blue framed item there, okay? So there is that, and I'm hoping I'm answering that question, because it doesn't necessarily do that in Illustrator. It's just this blue frame, and even when I click on the white arrow, it doesn't do it either. So I wanted to kind of clarify that one, okay? So that's definitely something that needed clarification. The next thing was going into, somebody had said that they're trying to fill a square, and when they go in to fill another square, this is in Illustrator as well, it blends is what I'm hearing. So this is a little refresher here on squares. The default fill square is red, and then the stroke is black, all right? So I'm showing that here. Now I'm going to make another square, okay? Whoops, cancel. Cancel again. Come on, there you go. I'm going to make another square. And yes, it looks like it's quote unquote blended, but it's not. This is the default so far. If I do 1,000,000 of these, you're gonna see defaults of this square everywhere, all right? This is where you have to change it. In here, you have to double click. First you have to have it selected, then double click. Now you're in color picker. Now this is where you're going to change the color of the fill of the square. The default is now gonna change. See that? So the default now is purple fill and black stroke. So now if I do 1,000,000 of these guys, it's always going to be now this default, all right? And so on and so forth. If I keep filling, I would double click onto getting the color picker, and then I would change the fill of the square. That's in Illustrator, okay? Let me double check and make sure people aren't mentioning Photoshop here. So here is a Photoshop quick change, all right? So we have now clicked on the rectangle mask tool, okay? And this is a little different. It's not really necessarily defaulted at this point. We still have to fill in, say, this fill to make it a square. So we're going to go up to Edit, Fill, and then there's going to be a couple options, okay? You're going to either black, gray, or white if you'd like, okay, to keep it kind of generic, or you can go into filling with the background color that you see, which will be orange, or you can fill with a foreground color, which would be green in this scenario. I'm going to go with a foreground color, okay? Now I'm going to show you, kind of similar to what we did in Illustrator, I'm going to make another, approach to a fill. There's no default here like it is in Illustrator. You have to make the execution of a fill. So now I'm going to fill it again, but this time I'm going to fill it, of course it's gonna be wackadoo on me. There we go. Now I'm going to fill it with the background color, okay? So the background color is going to be orange. Now it's executed in a different color because that's what I told it to do when I go to the fill action, okay? So two different applications, two different kind of ways of filling things simplistically with a square. So I just wanted to kind of go over those two for you, all right?